Hi, I'm Roger and welcome back to the Tractor Tech channel. Before I get to today's video topic, I want to show you real quick. Right behind me there, where that IBC tote is where the log pile was. You can see we've got everything cut up finally. And there is all the wood. My dad did help me some on it. And it's been like that for a couple weeks, just haven't had time to split. You can see behind me how much has been split, which is next to nothing. I really wanted to split today, but we didn't have time. Then this evening, we got a storm. You can kind of see that the ground's wet. It was super hot today, like 90 couple degrees, and wasn't even good weather to be out splitting wood. I like doing firewood, but if I'm going to do firewood, I'm going to do it on my own terms. I don't want to be out doing it when it's super hot, which it's going to come to that a little bit to get this under control. Also having problems with a log supplier again. It's just so tough for me to find a reliable log supplier. That is my biggest problem. Then my next biggest problem is finding the time to do the wood. If I had the time to do it and a good reliable log supply, hard to tell how much wood I could really sell. So what I want to talk about today is the firewood conveyor right there in the background. Picked this thing up at an equipment auction. It is a Loyal conveyor. You can see someone cut it down, turned it into a 16-foot conveyor. The belt was torn up, the paddles were pretty much ripped off of it. I finished taking them off, added some bolt-on cleats to it, and that works good to get the wood up the conveyor. Added this hopper to it. It already had this gas engine on it. I'm not sure, it may have originally been equipped with an electric motor, but it has this old Briggs 5.5 horsepower. When I bought this thing, didn't even know how good the engine was going to be. Came home and put gas in it and the thing ran, and it's been running good ever since. I put a spark plug in it, maybe an air filter, and then added an hour meter. You see it has 79 hours on it, and then changed the oil in it. Oh, the crank rope did break. I had to put a new crank rope on it, and adjusted the valves just as a maintenance type thing. But it's never had anything done to it. I can't complain for a Briggs Stratton engine. And I'll even show you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it would start on the first pull. Check real quick, make sure it has gas in it. My card just got full, so I had to delete some stuff off of it. So we'll give it a whirl here and see what happens. I'm sitting outside that doesn't want to retract right all the time. So it's been a pretty good engine. My biggest complaint about it is the exhaust is stinky. I need to come up with some kind of deflector, have an idea, I think, finally what I'm going to do with it, because when you are splitting wood, you know, you're standing back here, and if the wind's not blowing very much, that exhaust is blowing right in your face, breathing a ton of carbon monoxide, which is not good. So that's like the only thing that needs done to it. But back when gas, I don't know if anybody remembers, but at one point in time gas was like $2 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon. Well, at that point in time, this engine was using more oil than what it was in gas. This thing will run probably 5 hours off of a tank of gas, so it holds about a gallon of gas. And it would go through a quart of oil, and the oil we're using was like $2.75 or something probably at the time. Just using a auto parts store brand semi-synthetic oil. And the thing never smoked, but it was just consuming oil. So I got to looking online about the best oil for a small engine. It's a little bit critical to have an oil, not really, it's a little bit important to have a high zinc oil. Like if you look at any of your small engine oils like Kohler, Kawasaki, whatever, they'll say that they are high in zinc. So that's not necessarily a bad thing to have in the oil. Then also, the thicker the oil is at the temperature, I forget, if you look at the MSDS for an oil, there's like 2 temperatures and it shows the viscosity of it. The thicker it is at the higher temperature, the better it's going to be for a small engine, because these air-cooled engines run really, really hot. So I did a bunch of research and I found 2 oils that looked like they were good candidates for this engine. The first was Shell Rotella Gas and Diesel, I believe it was called. But at that point in time, I couldn't find that oil anywhere. I wanted to run a 530 oil because this stuff gets used in the cold and in the warm. I might change the oil in this once or twice, probably twice a year, because it's an old Briggs engine. The Subaru on my wood splitter, I do it like once a year for no more than it gets used. They say it can go 100 hours, but it doesn't see 100 hours, and that's too much in my opinion for an engine without a filter on it. But since I couldn't find that Rotella gas and diesel oil anywhere at the time, I believe Walmart may have it now, which things are a little bit difficult now to find stuff. The other oil I found that was a number 2, a very, very close. It was very close to being number 1. Was Mobil 1 high mileage. It's also very thick when warm. Has a ton of zinc in it. I chose to run 530. Now I will show you this bottle's 1030. That's all we have around here currently. My luck. And I changed the oil in this splitter, put the Mobil 1 530 high mileage in it. I can show you right now, I have not topped it ever, and some oil just ran out of it there. It's full on oil. It doesn't use any oil. Now if someone told me that just by going from a synthetic blend to a high quality synthetic oil would stop the oil consumption on this engine, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have called them a liar. I've heard people make ridiculous claims about things like that before. This thing doesn't use any oil. So that really made me a believer in the synthetic high mileage oil, especially the Mobil 1. I run it in everything: pressure washer, my splitter, my little zero turn there. Anything with an air-cooled gas engine gets this high mileage Mobil 1 oil. Like I say, I chose to run 530. You can choose to run whatever your manufacturer says, or would probably be the best thing for you to do. And I'll have a link in the description to Amazon for this oil. But I'll be honest and tell you the cheapest place to get this oil is going to be Walmart. And just go ahead and buy a 5-quart jug on it. It'll work out to probably about $5 a quart. This is probably going to be $8 or $9 by the quart. And if you need a couple quarts, you know, you're going to be bumping on $20. So why not go ahead and just get the big jug and be done with it. Now, I'm not exactly sure why this oil solved the consumption problems, if it's because it's staying thicker at the operating temperature, or if it's the higher flash point. This has an extremely high flash point. The conventional oil has a low flash point. Semi-synthetic's a little better. Mobil 1 has like the highest flash point of an oil. Maybe it was a combination of the two, but I just know it solved my problems. I was really impressed with this Mobil 1 high mileage. I run it in every air-cooled engine, as I already said. If you consider running this Mobil 1, I would recommend sticking with the viscosity that the manufacturer does recommend, but I personally run 530 and everything year-round. Also have some exciting stuff coming up on the channel. I have another chainsaw I'm going to be building, plenty of wood splitting, have a couple of cool projects. I have a wood splitter modification that I want to do, and be surprised that after I add this to my wood splitter, that if some of the wood splitter manufacturers don't offer this as an option, or since it's actually going to be very simple to add, maybe a standard feature on a wood splitter after people see this modification. It's really going to make things nice. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you all have a good week.